Okay, so World Cup knockout stage begins today after an awesome group stage that featured a ton of good matches and some really good play from the stars, which I thought was notable for in terms of the entertainment of the group stage. You really got a lot out of the stars, right? You had Mbappe scoring, I think it was 4 or 5 goals. Holland scored a few. Messi had, I think, 5 or 6, including a hat trick one day. And even Ronaldo got a couple there in one of his games, despite having a couple bad performances as well. But all in all, I thought you got a lot of entertainment value out of the group stage in terms of just the stars really showing out and giving you some of their spectacular ability on display, and scoring those G's. Which, at least from an American perspective, right? Like when we watch soccer, I think Americans have a harder time appreciating the game when there's no goals being scored, right? Like I feel like Europeans and soccer fans, globally, that have a more of a serious interest in the game year round, they can kind of come to terms with 0-0 draws and low scoring games a little easier. They sort of understand it. They understand a game like that's place, within the larger sport. Americans have a tougher time with that. I feel like we tend to want scoring, and if not, we end up somewhat disappointed with the match. So I thought, in terms of just capturing the American audience, I thought the group stage was actually pretty excellent, just because of all the goal scoring that there was. I think it was one of the highest scoring group stages that they've ever had in World Cup history. But just on top of that, you just had so many goals scored by the stars. In particular, you had those highlights circulating. You had those you had that bringing attention to those bigger matchups, which I thought was really good, and I thought set up well for the coming knockout stage. I thought there was a lot of teams that showed their prowess, showed that they really have a right to believe they can make a run deep in the tournament. But I also thought there was a lot of underdog teams that showed they can, on any given day, put up a great performance and potentially knock off one of these powers, right? Like Ecuador, defeating Germany the other day. That could have been a knockout stage game, right? And that may indeed happen here in the next couple of weeks as we roll through this knockout stage. We're going to end up with upsets, right? It's not just going to go according to chalk. And so today I just wanted to, take a closer look at the knockout stage bracket, highlight some of the exciting matchups for the opening round, and potentially pick our way through it here, make some predictions here. But first, I just wanted to review my group stage standings predictions. Okay, so I made a little side-by-side here, and what this is these are all my predictions that I made prior to the group stage. And those predictions were made in this video right here 3 weeks ago, prior to any games being played in the tournament. As you can see, I predicted all through each group and how the finishers would be, and then I also predicted the 8 third-place finishers as well. And I actually did pretty dang well. I got most of it correct, actually a surprising amount. So I thought I'd just go through and sort of review my predictions and compare and contrast what I got wrong and right. So Group A I had completely correct, Mexico 1, South Africa 2. Group B I also had totally correct, Switzerland 1, Canada 2, as you can see here. And again, all of these are just taken from this live video that I recorded 3 weeks ago prior to the tournament. So I didn't just make these up today. Group B, Switzerland 1, Canada 2, which I had correct. I also had Bosnia and Herzegovina going through as the third place finisher, which they did. So I had that group in perfectly correct. Group C, I had Brazil winning, which was correct, which was fairly obvious. I did not have Morocco finishing second. I had them finishing third and getting through on a third place finisher slot. I had Scotland finishing second. So that was my first mistake. Scotland indeed went home after the group stage, not doing well enough to capture a third place finisher slot in the knockout stage. So Brazil won there, and Morocco went through with the second place, and no third place finisher came from that group. United States winning Group D, which I had correctly predicted. I had Paraguay finishing second, Australia finishing third, and going through on a third place finisher slot. Paraguay and Australia actually ended up being swapped, as you can see here. Australia took second in the group. Paraguay got through on a third place finisher. So I had USA winning, which was correct. I had these two swapped, but both getting through, so partially correct. Group E, I had Germany winning, which was correct. I had Ivory Coast coming in second, which was correct. And I had Ecuador going through on a third place finisher, which was also correct. Group F, I had Netherlands winning, which was correct. As you can see here, I had Sweden second, which was incorrect. They actually finished third. And I had Japan third, which was incorrect. They actually finished second. So Japan and Sweden I had swapped, which was my mistake. However, they both do get through, which I did have predicted, so it was partially correct. Belgium somehow pulls out Group G, which I did predict, along with Egypt in second place, so I had that completely correct. Spain taking Group H, along with Cape Verde coming in second, which that was a huge surprise. I actually had Uruguay as my second place finisher in that group. That was a mistake. And I had Saudi Arabia going through as a third place finisher, which was also a mistake. Uruguay and Saudi Arabia both going home. Cape Verde continuing their dream Cinderella run into the knockout stage as the second place finisher behind Spain in Group H. So that was a mistake on my part. Neither Saudi Arabia nor Uruguay got through. Group I, France took the group, followed by Norway, which I predicted correctly. France won, Norway 2. Group J, I had Argentina winning, Algeria 2, second, and Austria 3. Algeria and Austria actually ended up swapped. My prediction about the second and third place in this group was incorrect. Austria actually took second, Algeria took third. However, I did predict they would both get through, which was correct, so that was partially correct. Group K, this was probably the prediction I was most proud of. I knew Colombia was strong, and I predicted them to best Portugal in the group. However, Portugal did get through as the second place, and Dr. Congo getting through as a third place finisher in that group, which I did not predict. I thought DR Congo would be going home after the group stage. I sold them short, and they will indeed be in the knockout stage as a third place finisher from Group K. Colombia winning that group, followed by Portugal, which I did correctly predict. Group L, I predicted England would win the group, which was correct. I had Ghana as the second place finisher and Croatia as the third, and those two just needed to be swapped. Croatia took second place and Ghana took third in the official standings. So Ghana will indeed continue their tournament as a third place finisher, and Croatia getting through as the second place finisher in Group L. So as you can see, every single group winner I predicted correctly. I wish I had done a big parlay, bet all these. I just didn't have the confidence, but I did indeed predict every single group winner correctly, which was kind of cool, and most of the second place finishers as well, and a lot of the third place finishers. So I had a pretty good hit rate on this standings and group stage predictions, which I guess really isn't all that hard. As far as the group stage in the World Cup goes, it's you got your Brazils, you got your Spains, you got your Germanys, and you just figure they're probably going to win the group. So, but to get every single one of them correct, I felt like was fairly notable, and I was kind of proud of that. Okay, so I found this cool, or I didn't find, on FIFA.com there is this cool second chance bracket thing, which is just essentially a bracket challenge. It's called the second chance bracket because you had a chance to fill out the whole thing before the group stage, and pick the group stage as well as the whole bracket that you would generate from your group stage predictions. However, assuming you got some of those wrong, the second chance bracket is just the correct group stage results, and then a bracket generated from that. So the second chance bracket is really just the first chance bracket, just starting with the round of 32 instead of the group stage, right? Okay, so the first game of the tournament today, Republic of South Africa versus Canada. I'm going to take Republic of South Africa. I like them to upset Canada today. I think Canada looked a little shaky in their last couple of games. They had the big win over Qatar. I think they got a little out over their skis because of that game. And I'm not sure they're really all that they are cracked up to be. I think they might be being set up to be for a great fall here in front of the home fans to Republic of South Africa. So I'm going to take Republic of South Africa in today's game at 3 p.m. So then the next game is Brazil versus Japan on the 29th at 1 p.m. So tomorrow at 1 p.m., right? Monday 1 p.m. At Houston Stadium, you have Brazil taking on Japan. And I do believe... this is tough because Japan has shown they are scrappy and good. You just got to think Brazil is going to be able to handle them. Yeah, I'm not going to pick against Brazil as much as I would love to see it. I think Brazil's probably going to end up taking that one. Oh, this just feels like the bracket buster game, doesn't it? Just because Japan have had that upset-minded sort of spirit about them. Ah, gosh, this is so hard. Okay, I'll take Brazil. So next we have Germany, Paraguay, June 29th. So tomorrow, 4:30 at Boston Stadium. And I'm going to take Germany in that matchup. Paraguay did not impress me when they played the United States. Germany hasn't been amazing, but I think they can handle Paraguay. So next we have the Morocco-Netherlands game, and that's going to be tomorrow evening at, I believe, 9 p.m. And that'll be at Monterrey Stadium in Mexico, and you'll have Netherlands versus Morocco. Morocco's been good. They've definitely been strong. They gave Brazil all they could handle. I just think the Netherlands has been outstanding, and I think they're going to be able to beat Morocco. So I will take the Netherlands in that game. So then Tuesday we have Ivory Coast and Norway, 1 p.m. at Dallas Stadium. As much as I'm so angry with the Norwegians right now because of how they handled that third game, not playing their stars, which I guess I could just talk about a little bit right now. I just thought that was the weakest thing ever for them not to play Holland and basically their whole lineup in the France game. It was just so, it's a slap in the face to the fans that traveled. I mean, they had that whole section of fans that was doing the Viking row at the games, and that's how you're gonna treat them. You're not even gonna have your players play in the third match. There's only 3 matches. It's one thing if there was 10 group stage matches and they were completely worn out and they needed a chance to rest. And I understand the short turnaround. That was the thinking, because they were going to end up having a short turnaround, but before their knockout stage game. But I just think it's so weak. You're playing 3 group stage games. That's it. The prices for these games are insane, and part of that is due to the fact that the games aren't going to include stars, right? So the game that includes both Mbappe and Haaland, that must have been one of the most expensive matches of the whole tournament, right? So you have people paying insane money to see this game because Mbappe and Haaland are both going to play. Now Mbappe did play, Haaland sat, and I just thought the Norwegians it was basically a slap in the face to their fans, for one, that traveled there, but just all the fans globally, like, because it just didn't make any sense. They were saying, oh well, France is probably going to win the whole thing anyways. Well, okay, so then this is your chance to this is like your Super Bowl then, right? Like, if you don't think you have any chance to win the tournament, why are you saving yourself? It just didn't make any sense, and I was very surprised just because they tend to be, they have that Viking spirit, that Viking ethos, and you're shying away from your number one, enemy in this tournament, or within your group, which is France, and you're not giving your fans the best matchup that they paid for in the group stage. It was so weak. I don't agree with it. Strategically, I don't buy that because 3 days is plenty of time to recover. And it's the World Cup. Like, you're not playing 100 matches in 30 days. You're playing 3 matches over the course of 2 weeks. You're fine. You're professional athletes. If you can't handle that, that's just pathetic. So, and I realize the Americans did the same thing. We were not playing. Our game was against Turkey that had already been eliminated from the tournament. We're not playing France. If we were playing France in our third game, we would have played our stars. I promise you. America's not going to go and just hand a game over to France. We're going to take our chance to take our crack at one of the best in the world, and it really surprised me that the Norwegians didn't feel they needed to do that. So for that reason, screw you, Norway. I'm taking Ivory Coast. Okay, Mexico, Ecuador. Now, Ecuador did just beat Germany. And Mexico does have a tendency to mess things up, especially in front of their home fans, and disappoint their home fans. I'm going to grab Ecuador on this one. I think Ecuador has found a little bit of magic. I think they're going to go on a little bit of a run here, or maybe just win the first game of the knockout stage. So then you have England versus this is Dr. Congo, I believe. I'm going to take England here. I don't think they're going to screw this up quite yet. Okay, so then we have Argentina, Cape Verde. I think that's obvious. Argentina is going to handle that. Messi's been scoring at will. Cape Verde is sort of on a Cinderella run. That should be the end of that for them. Egypt, Austria. Austria could barely handle Algeria, and I don't think Algeria is really all that good. So I'm going to go with Egypt here. They have Mo Salah. They've looked pretty strong in this tournament, tying Belgium, looking sound in their other games. So I like Egypt here to move on. Oh, and I got a little out of order here. That's fine. Okay, so back up here. July 1st at 4 p.m. we have Belgium versus Senegal in Seattle Stadium. I'm going to go Belgium here, even though they've been disappointing. I feel like for the knockout round, they'll get their crap together and they'll be able to handle Senegal. I'll take Belgium there. Also on July 1st at 8 p.m., we have USA taking Bosnia-Herzegovina. And Bosnia-Herzegovina was a third-place finisher. USA has looked strong. I'm just going to believe in the U.S. here. I think they can take care of them. I believe that's all the July 1st games. Oh, we missed the June 30th one. Okay, so New York Stadium on June 30th at 6 p.m. Or 5 p.m. We have France and Sweden. And I think anyone in their right mind would choose France there, setting up an excellent Germany-France game in the second round. That's going to be great if that happens. 2nd of July at Toronto Stadium, we have at 7 p.m. we have Portugal taking on Croatia. I think Portugal might disappoint here. Croatia's picked it up a notch, a little bit. Defeating Ghana. I believe they defeated the other opponent in that group as well. I can't remember exactly who it was right now. Oh, it was Panama. I believe they defeated them. I kind of like Croatia here. Portugal's been, they've been insistent on having Ronaldo out there, and he's kind of weighed them down. So I'm gonna go with Croatia on the upset there. Also on July 2nd at 3 p.m. we have Spain taking on Austria. I think Spain, if they perform up to standards, they should be able to handle that game pretty easily. Which takes us to our last two games of the group stage here that we have to pick. In Vancouver at BC Place, we have Switzerland taking on Algeria. And I like Switzerland there. Switzerland's looked, halfway decent this tournament. Algeria's been sort of getting by the skin of their teeth, and their goalie is pretty shaky, giving up goals. So I like Switzerland here to defeat Algeria. And then we have Colombia and Ghana. And although Ghana has been, they've been strong. They've pulled off some results. Although they did just lose to Croatia. They tied England, which was surprising. But then again, if a tie is basically a victory for you, how sound are you in the knockout stages? Colombia just defeated Portugal, and they've looked strong. So July 3rd at this would be 9:30 p.m. at Kansas City Stadium. I believe Colombia will defeat Ghana. So that takes us through our first round of the knockout stage. So we come back to the top here for the round of 16. And on the 4th of July at Philadelphia Stadium, you'll have Germany taking on France, assuming my predictions are correct. And I think France is going to handle Germany there. France has looked stronger than Germany so far. Houston Stadium on July 4th as well. We have Netherlands and the Republic of South Africa, and I think the Netherlands are the obvious choice. Dallas Stadium on the 6th of July. Spain taking on Croatia. I like Spain. Seattle Stadium on the 6th of July as well. USA and Belgium. This will probably be the biggest game of the tournament for the U.S., and I think they will, at least thus far, or this will be the biggest game of the tournament for the U.S., really the one we've all been waiting for, and I think they can handle business there and defeat Belgium. So I'm going to take USA. I think Belgium has shown you they can really disappoint, and USA has sort of got this magic under their sails, at least when they have their starters out there, right? So I can think they can defeat Belgium. New York, New Jersey Stadium on Sunday the 5th of July. We have Brazil and Ivory Coast. And this might be where we see Brazil get upset. I'm going to take... It's tough. It's just so hard to bet against Brazil. I'll take Ivory Coast there. Ivory Coast getting into the... I think they might be the sort of the team, the unexpected team in the quarterfinals this year. But outside of the United States, of course. Mexico City Stadium on the Sunday the 5th of July. We will have England taking on Ecuador, assuming my predictions are correct, and I think England will handle business there. Atlanta Stadium on the 7th of July, Tuesday. You will have Argentina taking on Egypt. I think Messi will lead his team to victory there as well, get them to the quarterfinals. And at BC Place in Vancouver on the Tuesday, the 7th of July as well, you will have Switzerland taking on Colombia, and I think Colombia will handle business there and meet one of their big rivals, Argentina, in the quarterfinals. So back to the top here for quarterfinal matchups: France and Netherlands. And I think this might be the time where you see France get upset. Netherlands has looked really strong and sort of an underdog. I like them in an underdog place. They're great in the air. They have that height advantage. They've been scoring a lot of goals. I think they can keep up with France offensively. It'll just be a matter of if their defense can have a good day and their goalie have a great day and keep Mbappe and Dembele and all those stars from scoring. I think this could be where France falls in the quarterfinal unexpectedly. So I'm going to take Netherlands there. Spain, USA. I think I'm a fan of USA. So although Spain might seem like the stronger team, I think in LA Stadium on that Friday night, I think there might be some magic under the sails of the US. And I think if any year, this could be the year that we do it. We knock off a team like Spain. So I like the U. And also Spain has shown they can be shaky in this tournament. They tied Cape Verde. So this could be the perfect place for us to get one of these victories over one of these great soccer powers. So take the U.S. there. Ivory Coast versus England. I think this is probably where Ivory Coast's run comes to an end. If England is in form and playing how they should be able to handle Ivory Coast and secure their place in the semifinal. Argentina, Colombia. This one is tough because Colombia is very strong, but Argentina obviously has Messi, and they've been playing so well together and just so soundly and handling business. So I think that's probably Argentina defeating Colombia in Kansas City Stadium on July 11th. Which brings us to our semifinal, and so my semifinal is going to have the Netherlands, United States, England, and Argentina, which I feel like is good semifinal. Netherlands versus the U.S. It's at this point, if you're picking the U.S., you're really going out on a limb, but I don't really care. I love the U.S. this year. I think they can beat anyone. I think as far as the group stages go, they showed they were as strong a team as anyone in terms of handling opponents they should have. Even when we took out our starters, we still had a great game against Turkey. I think when we have our starters in, we can play with anyone, and we will have the home field advantage and that magic under our sails of just being on sort of like a dream run type scenario. So I'm going to take the U.S. in the semi against the Netherlands, and then I'm going to take England defeating Argentina. England pulling off the upset against Messi and securing their place in the epic final showdown on July 19th in New York Stadium. During the year that's the 250th anniversary of the United States declaring independence, I think we will have USA versus England in the World Cup final. Again, on July 19th in New York Stadium. So, now obviously this is, I don't want to say I'm making meme picks. I'm not. I actually believe this result could happen. It's a long shot that you'll actually see USA versus England in the final. I just, the way I see it going down, the way I want it to go down, that's my bracket. And I'll just click save here. And so we can do a little review once we get these results. And we can review some as it goes along as well. Who knows? Maybe I get every single one wrong in the first round. And my bracket doesn't even matter anymore. 3 p.m. today, less than 2 hours from now, Republic of South Africa taking on Canada in our first match of the knockout round. The way they've scheduled all this just seems really, really stupid. Why do they have multiple matches on Monday rather than Sunday? That just seems to make no sense. I mean, people have to work and whatnot, right? Although I suppose if they had these matches on Sunday, people would just be in bed. I don't know. I guess they have to consider, the whole globe and the time frames with the fan bases and whatnot. It just seems odd to have these 3 matches on Monday and only 1 on Sunday. Anyways, luckily with I have a bit of an odd work schedule, and so I end up having my afternoons free and can often watch these matches, which has been really nice. But it's just the late ones that really kind of suck. I wish that US game was going to be earlier than 8 p.m. down here on Wednesday. But anyways, going to be a fabulous round of 32. The group stage has been amazing so far. I really think this World Cup has been an excellent success. Just really entertaining matches in the group stage. And I have no doubt the knockout rounds will be just as exciting. So really appreciate anyone watching these videos, following along. And we'll talk more about these knockout stage games as these results come in throughout these next couple of weeks. So thanks again for watching. Have a great night.